Okay, awesome. Welcome, everybody. My name is Ingalandia. Welcome to the Sovryn Community Call. I'm going to kick this off with a fun little freestyle rap for y'all, so just keep your microphones muted and just dig the sound. 1 second. All right, just give me a second. All right, everybody, here goes. Swapping stable coins and Bitcoin across the galaxy. I am sovereign, therefore I determine my own salary. I am a space badger who wields his own private key, slaying fiat lords who impose the repressive hierarchy. Life of the party, like lions in a safari, we can rise as an army. Bitcoin is bigger than Lambos and Ferraris. We can make a sovereign state that is scalable. Low gas fees when the payments due. Arbitrum or ZK roll-up layer 2, whichever solution we cater to, will render central banking extinct like a saber tooth. This is why we're here. It's a battle for freedom, building protocols and products like a magical kingdom. It's happening around you, whether it's local or global. You can join the talks, be vocal, draft a proposal. The governing autocracy is doing it all. Come one, come all to this week's community call. So there's your freestyle rap. Thank you for listening.
Woo!
Yeah!
Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate the cheers. Thanks for joining us here. Thank you for sharing in this mission. Welcome to the Sovryn Community Call, everyone. My name is Ingalandia. The rules are, if you're not speaking, please mute yourself. If you would like to speak, please toggle the mute button back and forth to get our attention. If that doesn't work, feel free to politely jump into the conversation. Now, before we go through the agenda and before I bring in Idan Yago, would anyone here who's a first-timer like to introduce yourself really briefly? Just say your name and hello, and how you came across Sovryn.
Hey, name is David. Came over from a group of friends that recommended this project. I haven't been paying attention too much just because I just got my baby. So I'm a brand new dad. Excited about
Congrats.
it. But thank you. But can't wait for the culture and the community here. Looks awesome. So I'm just here to spectate and, enjoy the ride and learn more. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. Welcome, David. And welcome to your newly sovereign child.
Thank you.
Cool. Anyone else like to say hi briefly? Cool. I'll let Yago come in and deliver the governance report.
Thanks very much. Hello, everyone. It's nice to be on another call with all of you. So I'll give a quick summary of where we stand with this sprint. As you guys know, we break our work up into 2-week sprints. We see the road to sovereignty as a marathon, which you run like a sprint. So so every 2 weeks, at the end of each sprint, we get together with the community on this call and we talk about what we've done. I would define the last sprint that we've had as the quiet before the storm. We have been working on putting together the last pieces. We will, over the next additional sprint, continue to work on the last pieces of some very, very large pieces of technology that we'll be shipping. Bridges to other chains, a better Bitcoin peg, improved scalability, reduced pricing on transaction fees, new types of transaction types. All of these things are coming quite soon, and the team has been working extremely hard in delivering them. At the same time, we've also been getting our legs stretched and getting used to working as a community together to make decisions. So the last 2 weeks, we have put forward a number of SIPs and voted on 3 of them. The 3 SIPs that we... Sorry, guys, I'm just going to mute Andrea. There you go. All right, so the 3 SIPs that we've been working on. 1, SIP A1. This was a purely technical SIP, and was the first amendment SIP that we had. It was an amendment to SIP 6, which introduced a small change in the way that the protocol worked. allowing us to set a slightly different price, a slightly lower price for the sats per SOV that were distributed in Origin. The goal here was there was, as you guys remember, the opportunity to deposit, to pre-deposit for Origin, and people did pre-deposit, and we closed down the pre-deposits early because we saw that we were going to go over the limit. As a result, we had a small amount of additional deposits that we could have taken in and chose not to. There was a discussion with the devs about whether or not we should open it up and take in the final deposits, or close down and effectively reduce slightly by about 2.5% the price of SOV for those who managed to participate in the pre-deposit for Origin. Because we are so focused on shipping right now, the decision was that it's not worth the distraction to the dev team to reopen the system just for a small amount of additional deposits. And so everyone effectively benefited. The devs got a slightly reduced workload, and the people who participated in Origins got a slightly reduced price. So that was SIP 6 Amendment 1. SIP 8 was my favorite SIP of the of this period. SIP 8 was interesting because it was presented and proposed by Immunify, a project that became interested. It's actually a company that do security bug bounties for smart contract systems. They got really excited by the Sovryn community and the Sovryn project. They proposed to effectively turn Sovryn into a customer, and to put together a particularly attractive package deal for Sovryn in particular. They wanted us to offer a bug bounty of up to $500,000. The community came back and said, no, that's not nearly enough. And so as a result, we voted on SIP 8 and approved the largest bug bounty in DeFi of $1.25 million currently. So the idea here is we start with the bug bounties early. Right now, there's not a huge amount of value on the system. As you guys know, the system is whitelisted. Many of you will be whitelisted as you take advantage of the SOV that you have acquired, and you'll be able to begin using the system. But the idea was, let's keep the amount of value in the system relatively low, offer the largest possible bug bounty, make sure that we basically get all of the white hat hackers in the world to attack our system, so that in a few weeks, as we're opening up, we're even more convinced that our auditing process, that our security process, that our code is the most secure it could possibly be. And this is a different approach from many other projects. Many other projects don't do any audit at all, or they will have someone audit code and then launch the project. We do not believe that that is secure enough. So the Sovryn process is we do multiple large-scale audits, at least every couple of months. We have a third-party audit team audit every single code change on an ongoing basis. We have an internal audit team. Every single dev also participates in code review of other devs' work, and now we also have this additional bug bounty. So we have a very multi-layered approach to making sure that our system is as secure as it possibly can be. And that's because we are placing our own funds in it, and we take this very seriously. And then SIP 10. So SIP 10 is, again, it was primarily a technical change, introducing a small change to the way the contracts work to allow people to claim their SOV. SIP 10 has also passed, and SOV claiming will from Origins will start very, very soon. So that was a high level on the key things that the community participated in from the perspective of governance of the system through the Bitocracy. And what I'd like to do now is open this up to brief very brief, like 1 or 2 questions, and then we'll turn it over to the team leads to discuss the work that's been going on over the last 2 weeks. So does anyone have like a pertinent question with regards to anything that I just said? Okie doke then. In that case, Aurora, would you like to tell us about what's been happening on the dev side?
Yeah, sure. So on the dev side, we are about to reopen FastBTC to allow all of you guys to move your Bitcoin onto the system in a much faster way than it was, an easier way than it was currently possible. The first FastBTC transfers will be limited for the first couple of days to, I'm not sure what the limits are going to be, probably a couple of $100. It's just, I mean, the system is battle tested. It wasn't used before. We improved it, but still, we need to make sure that our liquidity gets to the system first before we can start offering you the liquidity. So this is why the first days you will need to deal with a couple of $100 only. This is mainly for you to be able to get money for fees onto the system. And then on the next week, we should be able to increase the limits as we're moving more and more liquidity onto RSK. Then we are starting the origin claims today. The preparations on mainnet are already in progress, but they are not yet finished. They should be ready in approximately 2 hours. So the original investors under you will be able to claim the SOV and then automatically get access to the system, to the DApp. So any SOV holder is able to use the DApp. The other big chunks of work were the bridges, and we made some progress here, although we would have liked to make more progress, but the ETH bridge was a bit delayed because we found some issues with the setup, which are now fixed. Our audit reports are in progress, and the bridge is already up and running on testnet, but the user interface is not yet ready. It should be ready by Monday or Tuesday, so then all of you guys can start help with the testing as well. We also made some Bitcoin bridge. We managed also ready for more thorough testing than on the next sprint. Working on the rollups. And Ethereum. And using it roughly just so to find out and simultaneously we're working on deploying the rollup on our native chain. Apart from that, we're also because allow, which will be required if we have our own BTC bridge, and which should also come handy for everybody who is holding onto different tokens. So we've been looking into enveloping as well, and which way we go will be decided within the next sprint when we have a better understanding for how fast the rollup is progressing. If it's progressing fast enough, we will not need it. If it's not progressing fast enough, we might want to start offering a service like this as well for the meantime. Then we've been working on migrating our tests from Brownie to Hardhead, just so we have a very consistent and fast test base throughout the system to further improve our confidence in the system and in our test coverage. We started working on an improved AMM UI, and because this was considered kind of confusing until now, and you haven't been able to see how much profit you can expect from investing into the AMM, from providing liquidity into the AMM. And so we prepared all of the analytics and made sure that they can pull the data. And as soon as the UI is ready, you will be able to see it on the mainnet as well. Starting off the UI updates, I quickly check if Victor is available and if he would like to give a quick overview of what has been done on the UI. Victor, are you there? No. In this case, I'm going to give a very, very quick overview. So apart from the AMM, like I said, and apart from the FastBTC interface and the interface for everything else that we're speaking before, we also improved the maintenance mode. We improved the Bitocracy website, but also worked on the staking interface, which is not yet visible on mainnet, but will be in the next sprint, which will allow you to better see your vesting contracts and all of the dates. You will be able to extend staking positions or to withdraw from staking positions. We've been working on an improved swap UI and in general on some design elements and components upgrades as well as bug fixes. So this far about the development update for the last sprint, and for the next sprint our focus will be on getting the bridges ready to allow for more liquidity in the system, to integrate a very simple liquidity mining process and doing the concept work for a more sophisticated one, and then focus on user onboarding and improving the user experience. Are there any questions about the development update in progress? Okay. If not, if not, I will would suggest that Sue continues to give you an update.
It's Whipper.
Oh, okay.
I'm just curious, not to hold you to anything, but like if you had to give like a brief timeline with regards to the ZK rollup option, how far out are we from that?
The CK rollup is an option which is much farther in the future than a possible optimistic rollup. So what we're currently working on is an optimistic rollup, just because it's mostly ready, it's EVM compatible, so we can migrate rather smoothly, and it will give us the immediate benefit of lower transaction fees, much faster transactions, conditional orders, and all of the stuff we want to have. Whereas the CK rollups might have some big advantages over optimistic rollups, but at the same time, at the moment, it's much more complex to migrate to a CK rollup than to an optimistic rollup. So currently on our roadmap is an optimistic rollup first, and then a possible CK rollup in the future.
Awesome.
Anyone else?
I have one more question, if that's okay, if no one else is going. I know that there's still a lot of talk about a new Bitcoin peg, but I'm just curious, will RBTC still be used as the main Bitcoin peg? And if so, briefly, for how long will that be the case until there's a change?
Currently, the RBTC peg, the RBTC peg will always be an option. But currently, it is needed for paying the gas. And this will only change after we're either on a rollup or implemented a different solution, like the enveloping the RSK team is working on, or a fork of the gas station network, or similar technology, which allows us to pay transaction fees and other tokens as well. as soon as we have one of these technologies ready, the RBTC peg will not be strictly required anymore. It will still be an option, but not a requirement.
Thank you.
I'll just add one thing. There is some work that the team is working on to effectively combine the two so that from the user's perspective, it wouldn't matter. So they would effectively be merged into the same asset. Just be different ways of pegging, but still provide you with Bitcoin. So basically a unitary Bitcoin on our system.
Thank you, Yago.
So if there are not any more questions, I would suggest, Sue, do you want to give us an update on the creative side?
Hey. We've been pretty busy this week, this sprint, sorry. So to start off with, something that you're going to probably be using later today, we designed the Origins SOV redemption interface. Hopefully it's very straightforward for you all to use. It's essentially two clicking of buttons. At the moment, the staking interface isn't live. So in the interim, as the same for Genesis CSOV, where it was state vested in your wallet, you'll be able to see your SOV vested in your wallet section under the vested tab. Secondly, we've been working on the staking interface, so hopefully that's coming out very soon. We've been working on the fast BTC interface, so that should be up and running next week. We've been working on the ETH bridge interface. Hopefully that's kind of very straightforward for you guys to use. I'd love to have your feedback once that's live. A big majority of this sprint has been put on designing the design system and the style guide for you guys. Unfortunately, we haven't got it ready for you guys yet, but we've managed to get the design system into a place where we can hand that over to the dev team. So moving forward, everything should be a lot smoother.
Just on that too, I think one of the reasons that's interesting for the community is because the idea is to make it much easier to start working on creating, allow the creative elements of our community to start using the art assets for memes, for swag, for everything, so that we can as a community start putting out more of that stuff.
Basically, when that's ready for you guys, I'm hoping it will be the end of next week. You'll have a nice little package of stuff to play with and a nice set of guidelines explaining how to use all the assets. We've also been working on the website redesign. That's going really well. Hopefully that goes into production next week so that we have a new website that makes a lot more sense and there's a much more information for you guys to use. And finally, we've been working on the arbitrage AMM interface so that, like Aurora was saying, you'll be able to understand it easier and see the opportunities in the arbitrage and be able to take advantage of those much easier. That's pretty much what we've been up to for this sprint. Does anyone have any questions?
I think we can move on to Slider's update and just move a little faster so there's time for community questions afterwards.
Sorry, it took me a while to find my mute button there. Over the past 2 weeks, the adoption team have been busy working on the new, obviously, Sovryn website, as Sue mentioned. Apart from a new look and feel, the website will have major improvements in the SEO. So we're having optimized copy, and Google should finally crawl our blog. So this should significantly improve our organic reach. As mentioned, we expect it will take 2 to 3 weeks before the new site is live, but we're excited to show you that when that happens. This week, you may have seen, we also put out a press release around the Origin sale raise and the bug bounty. That's obviously one of the biggest rewards available to date, so that was a great headline for us, and it was picked up by CoinDesk and The Block, among others, which shows that the Sovryn project is still able to attract tier 1 press, and we hope this will continue. From this press release, our reach was a potential 58.2 million people, but from those, we estimate that just over 100,000 people will have read the release. This is information I'll be reporting on for each of our press releases, and I'm going to put that directly into the Google Data Studio so that you can see what we achieve each time we push a release. The Google Data Studio is a link that I shared in the last community call. I've posted it into the announcements again today in the announcements channel, so please take a look or bookmark it. It also shows you that we are continually achieving growth across Telegram, Discord and Twitter channels. Twitter is growing at just under 2% per day, which is a great achievement. So what's next for the adoption team? Well, we are pivoting away from token sales as our marketing objective and towards the product now. So part of our work in the next iteration is to look at what Sovryn is offering in terms of its trading, borrowing and lending features, and how we stack up against others in the marketplace. So we have a piece of research to do there. We have quite a few competitors across the different products we offer, and we'll be looking at how we compare and at what features and messaging will form the basis of our promotional campaigns over the coming weeks and months. As you also already know, the Origin sale addresses will be automatically whitelisted. So if you are an Origin sale participant, you will be free to use the Sovryn trading and lending features, which is super exciting for us. On the adoption team, obviously, our main remit is to get users into the platform. So we hope you'll try out the services, and we welcome your feedback on your experience, good or bad. And there is a channel in Discord specifically for feedback called user feedback, where you can drop your comments, but we're looking into gathering feedback in a more formal way, and I'm not sure if Exiled Surfer will comment on this.
I'll just mention that in the dApp itself, there is a feedback button which allows you to take screenshots of what it is that you're interested in commenting on, to write comments, and those get sent directly to the team. And you can also add your email to get the team to respond to you if you want feedback on your comments, or if you're raising an issue which you think is a bug and is impacting you. One of the other things that we're going to be looking to do is to introduce ways for us to reward, for the protocol to reward people who are providing useful feedback, both on mainnet and on testnet.
Perfect, thank you. And that's pretty much it for the adoption updates, but I just wanted to also thank everyone who's offered to help our team. So it's great to have your support. And also, one of the biggest things, as previously mentioned, that you can do to help us with our marketing effort is to share our news within your networks, because this is how every great project grows, from the core community out. So please do help us in that if you feel you would like to do so. So that's it from me, and thanks so much for your time.
Okay, then I'll jump in. Hi, it's Exiled Surfer with our community report. So we've made huge progress with the wiki, both in creating content and language support. We have been able to support, let me see here, how many languages. We have Spanish, Portuguese, German, French, Greek, Russian, and Czech. which are supporting the wallet setup and the claiming of SOV. The claim of the SOV video will be available in German and Spanish as well today. And so essentially what we spent time with during the sprint was figuring out our content management pipeline to be using the wiki as our internal documentation and source of truth, to be able to serve that content then out to our different website properties. And so the team has done has had a lot of accomplishments on that. We're still looking for additional translators. So if you'd like to participate in the translation of the website content on our website, for the DApp, or for all of our content, please reach out to us and you can participate via the wiki team. Then as far as we're rolling out a new channel strategy where we're going to be using Telegram as a doorstep and pushing people to the forum or to the Discord or to the wiki, where we'll be answering questions more deeply. And our message focus will be on onboarding, as Slider mentioned, shifting away from any sort of price or public sale discussions. We're keeping our heads down and trying to get the thousands of users that have purchased SOV up onto the platform, teaching them how to use it with staking, voting, and the rest of the features that are going to be getting rolled out. The next big thing that's happening inside the community internally is our governance process getting up with John Light. We're progressing towards defining the initial circles of the organization and the roles and people that will be involved in them, which will enable us then to get into our budgeting structure and percolate that up into a more cohesive and productive environment. We've grown so fast over the last weeks. So that's progressing really well. On Monday, we have our next meeting to define the initial circles. Really looking forward to that. And then the fourth thing is event planning. So since we're looking forward, all of these seeds have been planted and are growing really rapidly. We're going to look forward to planning a hackathon sometime in the next months, where it is that we will do similar posting of bounties like we did with Immunify, working together with the Gitcoin people and also hopefully with the Solidity people at the Ethereum Foundation, so that we can basically put out bounties over the hackathon to encourage development of integrating with our platform. So really excited about that. So kind of like a slow thing, but you get an early idea of where it is that we plan on going in the next months with community involvement. That's it for me. And if anybody has any questions, happy also to answer them. Cool. Ingvar.
Hey, I'm just checking what's next on the agenda. No updates from me. Perhaps we can open this up to a Q&A since we have some time left.
Hey, can I ask a question? It's David again.
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Hey, yeah, sorry about it. I've been gone for like the past week and a half just because, again, I was on leave from work from a baby. Didn't get to participate in a lot of the whitelisting and the events. Again, I'm not like sulking over it or anything like that, but I was wondering, towards the future, is there anything you guys can do in regards to, for the community, in regards to just maybe getting a few SOVs? I just want to participate in like the testings and just like the open polls and everything early, just to get a hold of it and just get an understanding of it. And if not, I'm totally fine with that. I can always wait for later.
Well, one thing you could do is always use the test net. There's a faucet for you to get tokens, and you have access to the full functionality of the application.
Awesome. Yeah, I actually have that pulled up right now, so I'm actually going to look through that too. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
I'd also add that we're looking to create the system in such a way that as we open up, basically everyone will be able to participate in Bitocracy. And the way that will work is that the protocol will distribute through the adoption fund SOV to users who are trading, who are lending, who are depositing. So effectively, anyone who is integrating with the protocol will earn some SOV for their participation. And there's, in addition to that, several other things that we're looking to put together. Bounties, for example, around testing, which I already mentioned. Bounties around specific tasks. And so the goal is that anyone who would like to participate in the Bitocracy will have the opportunity.
Thank you. That sounds awesome. That's all I wanted as a reply. Being part of the community, that's the answer you want. Thank you.
I've got a quick question. I'm interested in the dilution of our current holdings. If we look out over the next year and look at the planned distribution of additional coins, can you help explain how that will work? So if, let's say I've got X amount and I stake it for 3 years, how much other coins are going to be issued to start diluting that position out?
There's a blog post which covers that. In fact, I think there are two different blog posts. One which covers it over the course of the coming 7 years, and one which covers it over which is the tokenomics blog post, and one which covers it over the course of the next year. We don't know for sure what the actual amount of tokens that will be circulating will be, but we have a strong sense of what the maximum will be. And what we've been seeing is that it typically is coming out under the maximum because people do stake, because most people are in one way or another looking to, either bond their tokens or stake their tokens. But what it looks like over the course of the coming year, for example, is by the end of the coming 12-month period, so pretty much exactly March 26th, 2022, we would expect to have a maximum circulating supply of 30 million tokens.
I'd also like to point out that our most recent deck and all the tokenomics are available on the wiki. And there's the projections in there, and also the tokenomics blog post that Edon referenced. So wiki.sovryn.app, you'll see it in the sidebar, the black deck.
Okay. All right, I'll go back and read that. I saw where it was looking at the tokens that were going to be distributed. I just didn't fully understand how the mechanism for issuing those, if they were to new people or if they were, rewards for staking, or how that was going to work.
I think nobody knows really. It's not a decision that anyone is making. It's a decision that we will be making on an ongoing basis together. So we're currently working on putting together the tools that will allow us to have a high degree of flexibility around this. But ultimately, things like referral rewards, trading rewards, liquidity mining, etc., those are going to be decided by all of us together through the Bitocracy process.
And those are part of specifically earmarked dispersals, right, Edon? So I mean, there's caps on those.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. So the protocol on an ongoing basis will unlock tokens. So the protocol currently basically controls all of the tokens in our name, and over time the protocol will programmatically unlock those tokens, and we'll get to decide how to use them.
Okay, thank you.
That's essentially the programmatic dispersal that's in those links that I told you about. Okay, so it'll be coming out of that quantity of tokens. So we do have a general idea.
Hey guys, it's Whipper. Just have a sort of question, looking to get some feedback with regards to the AMM model that we have set up. I'm not really sure if anyone else has noticed or perhaps have been hesitant to make trades on the platform, but I know for me, like, the price is usually like anywhere between like $1,000 to $1,500 north of the actual price. I'm just wondering what sort of suggestions we have in place to sort of reduce the I'm not sure what to call it, slippage or whatnot on the AMM, just so that traders can feel like they're getting a more accurate price?
There's a lot that we can do and that we're working on. We will be encouraging people to provide more liquidity. We'll be making the interface more intuitive so that people can do it more easily. We are going to be looking to provide a way for users to more easily see where there are arbitrage opportunities. And we're looking to increase the ease and availability of getting liquidity into the system. That said, the best way that these prices will be kept in check is by people taking advantage of price discrepancy. So, for example, if you're seeing the price of Bitcoin being $1,000 too high, right, relative to other trading venues on Sovryn, that right now is an artifact of the fact that there is pretty much everyone in our everyone on the protocol wants to go long Bitcoin. They are bidding up the price of Bitcoin, and there's no countervailing. There are very few participants who are trying to push down that price. But what that basically represents is free money, right? If you can deposit Bitcoin into the system right now, basically sell Bitcoin, you can make an immediate $1,500 profit. And I think it's something which people haven't realized yet, that that opportunity exists. And the easiest way to take it, you can do it manually, but the easiest way to take advantage of that on an ongoing basis is to have a simple bot that will do that trade for you. And so I expect that very quickly people are going to be attracted by the opportunity and bid those opportunities down.
When you say sell, do you effectively mean going short or actually swapping BTC out?
No, it would be depositing into the AMM BTC for the purpose of purchasing dollars, right? So you're basically getting dollars discount. You're selling your BTC at a premium. So if the price of Bitcoin right now is like $50,000, and in our estimate it's $51,000 or on that order, you basically make $1,000 free by selling Bitcoin on our venue and purchasing it on a different venue at the same time.
Make money, 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 make money, money.
I noticed in the swap you can't even you can't do that through the swap, can you?
Yeah, you can.
So this is part of actually what will become clear. These opportunities is part of what will become clearer in Sue's new UI that was been gone over the last week. So he's really striven to make these opportunities clear and how it works for people in the interface. There's got to be some other questions out there from all those lurkers. Speak up, raise your hand.
It's the GIMP. We've had a question in the general chat. They don't have a microphone, so I can read it out. It's basically asking, how will we deal with the growing amount of scammers in the Discord? Can we make a dedicated channel to report scammers to?
Yeah, we can look into that, of course. Yeah.
Hi guys, Alex here. I know that there are some people that are asking about the 25% that of tokens that the team own, and some people think it's a bit much. I know that there are many DeFi projects where they up to 40%. I was just requesting if you would take this opportunity to elaborate on why you chose to initially allocate 25% to the team.
Yeah, sure. The approach that we have taken is very different from many other approaches. So we've discussed it a few times. Our belief is that the way projects succeed is by having an extremely dedicated team founders. It is those projects, companies, startups, countries that have very clear, dedicated founders who have a vision and are looking to implement that vision long term, that succeed in the long term and have longevity. And so that's one part of the answer. The second part of the answer is that one of the things that we've often felt was a bit weird about the crypto space, and particularly the Bitcoin space, is that people are extremely libertarian capitalist, free market oriented when it comes to Bitcoin, but then they want all the devs to work for free. They don't want anyone to tokenize any potential product that they're building. So it's like when it comes to Bitcoin, we're capitalists, but when it comes to everything else, we are communists. And that is definitely not the way we view it. We think that the way to properly construct a system is with the right incentives. If you construct the incentives right, everything else takes care of itself. And that was a core insight that Satoshi had. He didn't just release Bitcoin. He released Bitcoin in such a way that you had to work to get the Bitcoin. And the people who worked hardest at the beginning, when it was most risky, most uncertain, were rewarded the most. And so it is out of those two, that one, you need to have the correct set of incentives, and two, that the people that you want to incentivize are the people who have a long-term vision for the project, that we've constructed everything from the allocation for the founders to the way that the Bitocracy works. In the Bitocracy, for example, the longer you stake, the more weight, the more voting weight you have. And so it's definitely not a democracy. It is a plutocracy of the most dedicated. And we think that is...
Permissionless in that sense.
Yeah, anyone can participate. Anyone can participate, and so it's permissionless, right? The access is open. But just because access is open doesn't mean everyone is equal. And different people are contributing very, very different amounts and have, and are systemically important to the project in very, very different ways.
Can I add on to that? So part of the Circle's governance process that we're instituting is to move towards transparency, where we'll have open budgets and people will be able to see how much money is dedicated to development, to marketing, and whatever. We're having discussions as to how granular that will be, and also how identifiable it'll be with the people in the team. We have to remember that with a decentralized non-state currency, there's a target on our head. So we're going to move towards being as transparent as we can possibly be about how it is that the funds are distributed amongst the team that is working. Yeah. So I think you'll see over the next month, and then moving forward in the next quarter, much better insight into how it is that things are structured and where the money is going, so to speak. It's a key goal of us developing this system.
Thanks. That definitely led to some good quotes. Thank you.
Are you covering this for media?
No. I just was taking down a couple of things so that next time people ask, then I can just say, well, I asked them, and this is some of the takeouts. I do proofreading of the articles.
Cool. So yeah, feel free to push those messages out that you're hearing here on the channel. It's the best thing that you can do to support us.
Definitely.
Anybody else? We got a few more minutes here for somebody else to jump in with anything that's burning.
Well, I'll just add this. As far as the general channel is concerned, I noticed that there were some people having questions about how to still how to get RBTC into their wallets and so forth. I just wanted to let everyone know that if you head over to wiki.sovryn.app and go to the wallet setup guide, there is a section in there of how to get RBTC. There was also a question that's come up several times of what's the easiest or fastest or cheapest way to make that happen. And although there are several ways to do it, one that keeps coming up, which seems to be relatively straightforward, is setting up an account on KuCoin and converting BTC to RBTC there. Seems to be straightforward and relatively inexpensive from what my understanding is. Also, just to reiterate, since a lot of you will be waitlisted today and maybe looking to convert your claim your SOV in the wiki, again, we have in the sidebar, there is a link to claiming your SOV. It will take you to a page that even for Genesis people links to videos, one to claim your SOV for the origin and the other to convert your CSOV to SOV for the Genesis people. Just wanted to throw that out there so that you knew that that existed on the wiki. Again, it's wiki.sovryn.app.
And just remember that as soon as Fast BTC is back up and running, you don't have to worry about any of that stuff anymore.
Yes, so it's currently in the works. It was planned to be up and running today, but we have a slight delay here, so it will be up tomorrow. So from tomorrow, nobody will have to worry anymore about where to and how to get the Bitcoin onto the system.
Aaron here. I just wanted to follow up. I know there's some discussion with the community as far as moving away from a discussion of the token sales and whatnot. And just wondering, is there actually going to be an evolution token sale, or is that something that I was confused about? Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can I say something?
Wait.
Currently in draft mode.
Andrea, we're just not focusing on that right now. We need to serve the users. We need to get the best amount of features into the application. We need to launch the brand identity and the UI and these things. And we want to use that to gather data, see what people are doing on the platform, see what it is that the Origins token holders do when their vesting period ends. Genesis token holders are a lot different. They have vested for 10 months. Origin holders have just a very, very short time. We've seen in our communications channels that we have a lot of people who are, I want to flip the coin, bro, 10x moon, not really what we're interested in. So we've kind of like made a choice to say, yeah, that stuff's going to happen. Let us just move forward with the thousands of people that we've onboarded so far and see what it is that they do. We have a good war chest, and we want to implement it and do the development. And we'll talk about that stuff when it becomes more relevant.
So this is Yago here, and I have a slightly different take on that. Because I wrote the SIP for evolution and I proposed it. I still think it's a good idea potentially, but when I proposed SIP 9, which is the evolution sales SIP, I opened it up for discussion on the forum, and there were a large number of very, very different opinions. And so I feel that I really wanted to continue promoting SIP 9 under those circumstances, given that I didn't feel like there was community consensus on the direction. So I have some ideas, and I know other people have some ideas on how we're progressing there, and I still think it might be a good idea to have an additional cell like that and integrate it with Ethereum. But I think right now, for me as well, as for most of the people who are actively engaged in the project, like the number one thing that we're interested in is getting everyone who is already involved being able to use a platform that they will love. And I think from that also there will be a much clearer path will emerge for all of us around any future set that we do.
Hello everyone. I want to discuss an issue with all of you. Can I say something?
Sure.
Okay. This is Alex Taran, and I am a security researcher, and I have found a few security vulnerabilities in Sovryn app.
Alex, I think you've emailed me and a number of other people on the team. The correct way and the only way we accept bug bounty reports is through the Unify platform.
Yes,
This is not
this
the
is the
correct
issue.
format.
Yes, I know. This is not the
Yes,
correct platform.
that's right.
Okay,
so
actually, I want to discuss something about Immunify. The reason why I came here, and I want to discuss an issue about Immunify with all of you, if you allow me.
So, Alex, I know a little bit of the context here. So I actually don't think this is an appropriate forum. If you would like to discuss it, you can, but given the emails that you've sent us and also the discussion we've had with Immunify, I think probably the best thing to do is, if you want, you can have a conversation with me. I'm happy to address any concerns that you have, but I don't think this is the correct forum.
Oh, okay. I will discuss with you privately.
Sure.
Okay.
I got a pretty serious question. What is up with the X-Men names?
Very serious.
You don't like them?
No, I love it. I'm just curious why.
So I'm happy to fill that, Aurora, unless you want to. So it's several months ago we started working on this. Some of the people who I actually don't know, maybe who some of them are, chose to work pseudonymously, and they chose mutant names. And the reason they chose mutant names is because we consider ourselves Bitcoin mutants. We're the next evolution in what Bitcoin can do. And we also see everyone who's working on and using Sovryn, everyone who is Sovryn, as a superhero. And so it just sort of emerged, and then it kind of became a culture primarily among the dev team. A lot of the people who joined chose X-Men related pseudonyms for themselves. But I think Aurora was the first one to do it. Aurora, you wanna give a little thought on that, or?
Sure, I can give some background. So yeah, in general, like Yago already explained it very well, like why the superheroes and why the mutants. But I want to just chime in on why pseudonymous. And there are a couple of different reasons speaking for it. One is that people tend to trust in people who are standing behind the project instead of just trusting the work they're doing, or not trusting, but verifying the work they're doing. So there's also an article about it that you can read. Don't trust me, but verify. So this is important, that you are sovereign individuals, you are responsible yourself to where you put your money and what you do with it. And I think it's not the right approach to trust organizations or people to handle your money, but instead rather verify what has been done. And this is here possible. You can verify the smart contracts, you can verify the UI code. Everything is open source. There should be no need of trust involved at all.
And so
this is maybe the most important reason.
And so these X-Men characters and how they're playing out, and the rest of us will all become much more part of the narrative that we're moving forward in developing the comics. You'll see that on the new website. We've engaged writers and creatives to create a complete world around this, and so we'll be explaining all of these concepts through the voices of the different characters that are represented as archetypes from the team. It's really a large part of the Sovryn community communication channel is to develop this world and communicate all the things about Sovryn and about cryptoeconomics, economics, and being sovereign. So that's a long-term project that you'll see folding out this year. Cool. I'm curious. Inglandia, do you have like a closing wrap, or do you just have closing comments? Because we're about
Just intros. Just intros. But yeah, to respect everyone's time, I will close this out and.
Ingemar, do you mind if I just say one thing first?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, yeah. So Selena is working on putting together a new bounty, which will be open to anyone. She'll be posting a number of roles that we are looking for people to join the team and help with. This is on dev side, partnerships, and all kinds of other things. And she's creating a $1,000 bounty for anyone who refers someone that joins the team as part, of one of those roles. That will probably be published soon in the bounty channel. So just keep your eyes open for it. And then the other thing that I point out is we've had a really great, especially over the last 2 sprints, quite a lot of people have taken it upon themselves to just kind of dive in and start working on the project. And a number of these people have ended up becoming effectively full-time members of the team. So if this is a project that's interesting to you, it really doesn't matter what your skill set is. If you can think of any way to contribute, there are people who making videos, there are people who are proofreading things, translating things, doing work, running bots, running nodes, anything that is interesting to you, and there's just an entire world here. Dive in, and
we'll find a place for you. I mean,
yeah.
It's the cypherpunk thing, and ye shall know him by his code. That's what we do. So when we recognize people that do things in our channels, there's a number of them here in the community call that have just joined us in the last week. If you show us what you can do, man, there's no reason why it is that we're not going to make you part of the team. We got a lot of things to do this year. So reach out to us, be proactive.
And then there's one other thing that I would mention. We've had SIPs coming from people. Most of the SIPs so far have been coming from people who are like part of the core team. But anyone can write this. And I think what Immunify proved is that there's opportunities to have an idea, write up, and very, very likely, if it's excited to the community, will get approved pretty quickly. So don't be shy. If you have a killer idea, write it up. Let us know. Let us debate it together, and maybe you'll be the author of the next SIP that gets approved. And with that, I'll hand it back to you, Ingemar. Thank you.
Sure. Also, to add to that, we are looking for more appearances on YouTube channels and podcasts. So if you have a favorite, YouTuber in the DeFi space or podcaster, let them know about us so that we can appear on that and spread the message even further out and create more sovereign individuals. So please hit me up. Name's Inglandia. If you have a great idea on like a DeFi platform or protocol that we can integrate with, that would improve the offering of Sovryn. If there are wallets that you think would be cool to introduce us to for integration purposes, I'm the guy to contact regarding that. So I will close this out, but you guys are free to hang out if you'd like. So thank you all for joining this call. Your support makes all the hard work worthwhile. So we're a collective carving out a trail for financial freedom, dismantling what people know and understand about money, and making an art of it along the way. So help us spread the word and create more sovereign individuals. So thanks everyone for joining. Have a great weekend. Cheers.
Kudos.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Where's the outro wrap?
Look, we are wrapping this up, okay? There's no wrap.
Oh, God.
Guys, anyone speculating whether or not Binance will list RBTC?
it's a question of time frame, I think.